I remember freshman year. I was really, I remember math. I had this math class.
I hate math.
It was one of the worst classes I've taken here at Southern. But no shade. It was just really difficult. It was super difficult.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of College Survival Guide Podcast. I am your host, Macy, Vessell, and this is...
I'm your co-host, Floyd Harris.
Now, before we start, I do want to say that podcasts are available on all platforms, so that includes Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and also YouTube. So the first episode, we're going to talk about many topics, but to help some freshmen out, we're going to start with gaining and losing friends. So, Floyd, was it easy for you to make friends when you got here?
I think it kind of really depends on your situation. So I know before my freshman year, I came to a program called the Bayou program, which is what I'm in right now.
Is that where you met Ellie?
Yeah, that's where I met Ellie. So I was already making friends before I even attended Southern. So, I was already.
I think my road to friendship started in group chats, but I'm not friends with any of them anymore. So this is the best advice I can give when it talks about...
I forgot about group chats. I forgot about group chats. We used to have a lot of those.
Oh, the group chat started on Twitter, and they ended right there where they started. Because I don't think anyone is really friends with people that they started in a group chat with, but we're going to get into that. But first, I do want to say that everybody is not as social as other people. And a lot of people... want advice on how to make friends, but when they do it on social media, they get a lot of backlash. I know a lot of the freshmen here at Southern, there was on Twitter like, if you want to be friends, hit me up. If you want to be friends, speak, blah, blah, blah. And then we have upperclassmen like getting on them bad, talking about if y'all really want to make friends, you wouldn't be on social media. Like, you'll get in the field, you would speak to them at events and stuff.
Right.
But everybody isn't.
Everyone's different.
So were you always a social butterfly?
I'm always a friendly, not always social. I don't really consider myself social. I will be happy to see you and talk to you, but sometimes I like to be by myself.
What's crazy? I think the older I get and the more I step into my career, the more I realize I'm not a social person either. And people think I am because I'm always friendly, but I don't like being around people. Like, the only time I really like being around people is either when I'm doing what I'm doing or I'm at work. Other than that, I'm at home chilling by myself.
Right.
So a lot of people are like that as well in college. And the thing is, I think so many people want to make friends in college because people put in the fear that if you don't, you're not going to have that full college experience.
And I think some freshmen don't want a lot of friends. I don't think that's their main goal. Some of them, at least.
So we're going to start with the people that actually want to make friends. We're going to give advice to y'all first. My first advice is to start following people on Instagram. That's how I found out who my classmates were. So search up like SU26, SU25, and blah, blah, blah. Even look at locations. A lot of people post pictures and put Southern as their location, so you can start there. Following people on Twitter is also a thing too, because Southern's Twitter is like a whole different world. It's different than just regular Twitter. Like HBCU Twitter and regular Twitter is two different things. Just like how Black Twitter and regular Twitter are two different things. So I would say go find some Southern people on Twitter and, start that up. Another thing I can say is also, I know a lot of people aren't social, but it might be the time to start stepping out of that shell and start becoming social. Because the way you want to make friends, closed mouths don't get fed.
So, networking is the thing, yeah.
So you can say you want friends on social media, but once you pass them up, like let's say, for instance, I know a lot of times they post on Twitter saying, hey, who want to go to the cafe, who want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And people will comment talking about, yeah, girl, hit me up and something like that. So now when they see each other in person, they just keep walking. And I'm like, how do y'all expect to make friends and none of y'all want to speak first? Like, I think everybody is scared that they want to be the person that's doing more than the other person.
Is that a Louisiana thing, just walking by someone and not speaking?
No, I speak.
It's very disrespectful.
I was going to say, I speak. Down South Louisiana, we speak. I always speak.
I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I don't know you either.
It's crazy. A lot of people think that Southern hospitality is not as known as, how can I put this? It's really not much Southern hospitality here, even though we go to a school in the South. A lot of people actually complain about how people don't speak. And I mean, like, everybody doesn't have to speak. Personally, me, if you walk past me and you don't speak, and I'm just going to go over my life.
Right.
because I'm not going to force you to speak to me. You clearly see me.
And I guess since we're talking about gaining friends, I guess my points would be go to the events that the school holds, go to some community service events that the school holds. Just go to different events because you don't have to be besties per se. Just form a relationship with someone, you know.
But also, I do want to say, don't be naive to making friends because I know a lot of you may be very yearning to make friends and you might be friending the wrong person. Friendship takes time. In college, it's like when we see somebody in the cafe, we just start hanging with them randomly, and then we just be like, oh, we're sisters and stuff like that. We really haven't gone through anything to say that, you know, we're friends or for real. So that's how a lot of people lose friends fast, because they befriend people here too fast. And then they realize they weren't meant to be friends because they have nothing in common. But because we're here both stuck in our dorms, that we should hang out. It's not meant for you. Sometimes it's meant for you to be lonely in a season because it's meant for you to, I guess, learn yourself better. Because it was a time that I feel like I didn't have any friends. When I first got here, I feel like I had to be someone I wasn't. I know in a lot of group chats, people will act more different than I am. Because, you know, people like I'm proper and, you know, I act certain ways, you know. So I always feel like the odd man out until I met you and, like, you know, Cold Blue and stuff like that. So I can understand how people feel lonely and want to be friends. But also I knew that everyone isn't meant to be around me. Everyone isn't meant to have my energy. A lot of people here on campus are very grimy if they want to be. So it's very important to know who your friends are. And I'm not even just talking about on this campus. I'm talking about every college campus. There are bad people, but also there are tons more of good. So, any more advice on gaining friends?
I think personally you should have like a small group of friends, not like a huge class of people to call. Because it can go bad depending on what kind of people you're hanging around. And you don't have to come to college thinking I need to make friends, because it's going to happen either way. You have to talk. You have to speak to, you know, do speeches and, you know, networking. But yeah, it'll happen. Don't stress too much about that.
But I also can say that's very true about the large group thing. When you start off with people, you're not gonna probably like end up with them at the end.
Sure.
A lot of people come in here like 10 deep and probably have about 3 friends by senior year that they actually call family. And that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna meet some people your freshman year, and by senior year, you're gonna only be standing probably with 2 people. And if that's how it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen like that, regardless if you want to lose people or not. Because I stopped being friends with people that I never thought I would stop being friends with. And I just had to let that hurt go and just keep pushing in life.
I've formed relationships with people I didn't think I would talk to, like at all. You know?
And you know, that's just crazy because coming in here, I was like, I'm gonna meet people, but I'm always gonna be like this with my high school people. Me and my high school people are like this. I don't talk to I don't talk to any of them, and I was not expecting it to be a whole 180. Because now all I talk to is my college friends. And I don't even see a life without y'all. And it's only been like 3 years. But that shows how short amount of time can really bring people together. Because college with friends, you're going to go through the worst and the best times with them here. You're going to see each other cry. You're going to see each other fail. You're going to see each other join organizations. You're going to celebrate wins, talk about losses.
See growth.
It's a lot of things. So any more advice on gaining before we start talking about losing friends?
Not that I have any.
Okay, so when it comes to losing friends, this happens with everybody. The thing is, when you get to college, you start finding yourself more and you start realizing that you outgrow people. It's not a bad thing. It's also a healing thing, if that makes sense as well. Everybody that you come in here with, you're not going to leave with, like I said earlier. When it comes to old friends, I could say from high school and stuff, the reason I thought that we were going to last like this is because I was with them for so long, like from middle school to high school. So I didn't even think of a life without them until I came to college. So it's like, I outgrew them. And I'm not afraid to, I used to be actually afraid to admit that I outgrew somebody. Because I was like, I didn't think I could ever outgrow somebody. Because how do you just one day be like, I'm not going to talk to this person? Like, how do you do that? And I did it. I left the group chat that I was in and I said, I'm one phone call away. I love y'all. And, it's forever us. And I really still mean that to the bottom of my heart. I just don't talk to them because you just outgrow people. Have you ever outgrown somebody here?
Here?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say outgrow. I guess we grew apart from each other. So it wasn't like forced or anything.
I like the way you said that.
We still have a good relationship. If we were to walk past each other, we talk, hey, what's up? How you doing? But sure, I have outgrew some people.
So how do you get past that where you're just not as close to
being busy?
Oh, yeah.
Just being busy and doing work and reading, listening to podcasts. At the end of the day, it's not that serious, but it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just keep doing you. Keep flowing.
So next we're going to talk about organizations. A lot of people have interest in a lot of organizations. They always ask, how do you join? Where do you sign up? How do you do this and blah, blah, blah. So we're going to get right into it.
Well, first, what organizations are you in? Or where were you in, Macy? You're a busy gal.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm only in one organization, and that's NABJ, which is the National Association for Black Journalists. I was a part of at least 5 to 6 organizations, and one by one I left. Did you want me to get into why I left, or did you just...
Sure.
Okay, so the reason why I left every organization is because I started to feel like I just wanted to be a free woman, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that these orgs pulled me back or, it's controlling, but I just wasn't feeling it anymore. The more you start growing into your purpose, the more you want to get distractions away from you. And I feel like the organizations were distractions. Like even Code Blue, that's something I love to death. I still love it. But after I graduate, am I going to be in the Stuff and Shake uniform or do I want a talk show? Like you have to realize that stuff matters more than other things. And also being a student that works, I couldn't handle organizations and working and Macy B and Clear the Air and hosting all at once, especially in my first year because my career grew fast. Within 6 months, I was already hosting 5 things. That's fast.
That is.
So I just had to learn how to handle it. And I put my big, pants on and I said, I'm walking away.
Period.
I'm not regretting it.
Yeah, it's different with everyone.
But I could say being a part of organizations is the way I found my true friends. The way I joined organizations is I've always, stayed up with what's up to date. So I could say y'all can stay up to date. But even telling them that, they always say that they don't see the flyers of like organization things on Instagram. And I think that might be a flaw in the people that's posting because the people that post always post at one time. And how do you expect all of us to see it if all of y'all are posting the same post at 12 o'clock a.m. and nobody's on Instagram at 12 o'clock a.m.? You know what I'm saying? So I would say just start following pages that's very important at your school that represent the organizations that you want to join. But also think about this. Do you want to join the organization for the right or wrong reasons? A lot of people join organizations because they see other people involved and don't know what it takes to get into that organization. And then when they get into it, they hate it. Because it wasn't meant for you to be a part of, you know? Sure. And that's actually every organization.
But at least you tried something that you thought you would get into. That's just life, trying things.
And I also want people that turn down our organizations to don't feel bad because God has a plan for you. And when you get a no, there's always a yes at the next door. I just want to say that. But do you have any advice on joining organizations before I get into deeper?
I guess start practicing on how you talk to people. Start practicing on how you dress, just in general. First impression, I think, is really important. Some people don't think first impression is a thing, very important. But it's a thing. Ooh. People don't talk about it, but it's a thing.
Ooh, it's a real thing.
Excuse me.
Because y'all don't understand how important your social media is when you go to college. Your appearance means everything to people. Personally, me, I don't care what other people post, but that's probably because I'm not in a position to like put people in places and stuff like that yet. But please clean up your Instagrams, your Twitters, your Snapchats, because once you post something, it's always going to be there. And people remember a face.
Yeah.
If you post one tweet, people are going to remember your face forever.
It's true.
So please clean it up. That's also could be a reason on why you got declined out of organizations. I know personally 2 organizations I was a part of, I've overheard stories of people getting declined because of wearing a bonnet to class or cursing on Instagram or, twerking in the camera. So
right.
Please be mindful on what you do. Not saying that you can't have fun, because baby, we get fun. But don't put it to where everybody can see it, or don't be in public to where everybody can see it. Because it's not worth it, I promise you. But I personally don't find it that important. What's your opinion on appearance? Do you think it's important, our first impression? What do you think?
I just think it's important overall. If you plan on joining an organization and they see that you are drinking every night, you're twerking with your friends, you are cussing, they're probably not going to want you in the organization. Just saying, though.
That's true. Because people really do put a face. If you at every party on Saturday nights, people are going to remember that. Personally, I don't understand why people care if people are out every week.
You can go. Just,
just be clean with it. I think that's the best way I can personally say
it. It is what it is.
But we also wanted to give some midterm advice because this is midterm week. Y'all, I'm not going to lie. When it comes to midterms, I wing it and just wing it good. I do not study for tests.
She said I wing it.
I can't give advice on this.
She said figure it out.
I think if I study, I'm going to fail because I'm going to overthink every information that I read.
That's so different.
Like you study, you're a studyaholic.
Sure.
When it's time, you're going to study.
Oh, sure. Animal science? Oh, no. You're going to study. They give you a book and say, you're studying.
What are you doing, Floyd? I'm studying.
No. Where are you at the library?
I'm not coming anymore.
Sorry, guys. Doing this work.
But yeah, so I guess Floyd can give y'all more advice on it. I don't study, so
midterm. So personally, before midterm even comes up, make sure you have all the information you need. Don't wait until midterm and think, oh, okay, so now I need to take it seriously. No, you need to take it seriously the first time you walk through that door.
I feel attacked.
Sit down.
I feel attacked. Because I just be like, oh, midterms is going to come very slow. Midterms
it's next month.
See. I really thought it was an A, but okay.
No, fun fact. I remember freshman year, it was English class. I forgot the professor's name. But I remember a student walked in and the professor said, okay, do you have this, and this? He was like, no. And I was like, what do you mean no?
Like scantrons and pencils and stuff?
Like it was an assignment that she asked for, and then it was like something else that she needed, and he didn't have any of that. And I was like, why are you here?
Some people really, like we said last pilot episode.
Some people just come here and just are here to be here.
Are they forced to be here? Some people do not want to be here. But I can't say midterm advice. Don't let midterms make or break your final grades. It's very easy to bounce back from a bad grade. Personally, I don't let myself slip lower than a C.
Right.
So I'm not a DF person. So when I say I don't study, just know I'm passing regardless. I ain't out here failing now.
Don't get it twisted.
That C gets degrees, right? That C is always going to get a degree. So, but we also wanted to give a little freshman advice. I know a lot of y'all are home away from home. It's also fall break. A lot of things are going on mentally, physically, emotionally. So we just want to say that me and Floyd are always here for you freshmen, and that's at any school. Our DMs are very much open. You can DM us anytime. We're always here to talk. Because personally, I think freshmen get it the hardest when they come to school because they come in blindsided. Like at least, when you're a sophomore, junior, or, senior, you already experienced at least 1 year. So you kind of know what you want to do, what track you're going. Freshman is like, okay, mom and dad dropped me off and now I have to figure it out.
And I guess that's the beauty of it. You're here to learn different things and find different people. And
it's time for you to grow up.
How
did you handle being home?
It's crazy thinking about it. Again, I traveled at a young age, so being away from home wasn't anything different. What was different was the culture and the people. It was a lot of back and forth coming to Louisiana, coming back home. That wasn't stressful. My dad helped me move in all the time, except for this semester I had to move myself, which my line brother helped me with that. Kudos to you. It wasn't too rocky. I had friends that I could stay with over before school had started for a move-in. It wasn't too hard. I guess I'm just used to being away from home. I'm just used to it.
Well, I'm from Baton Rouge, so I ain't hard. I went down the streets, and I think a lot of people don't understand how blessed they are to be in their hometown with their school, because it can be nerve-wracking. I can't picture myself, at least as a freshman, just getting dropped off at a university and just figuring it out. Because I was always like this with my family. So how are we like this, and now I just got to figure it out? Like, even though you're one phone call away, you're not physically here to help me. And I understand how freshmen feel like they're alone, because once your family goes out there, you have nobody. Who can you trust? Who can you talk to? Who can give you advice? Who can help you study? Like, it's a lot.
One thing I was really scared about freshman year was the major. People were like, "Oh, you can change it. You can just do what you want to do."
Yeah, don't let nobody scare you out of your major. I don't know, because they will be quick to tell you ain't gonna make no money from certain majors.
It's I don't know. It can be frustrating at times because you're here on your own, and then you have other things to do with. I don't know. But you'll get through it.
I think being in college is one of the most hardest things that we experience as adults. And I always say college is the last stepping stone before we actually become full-blown adults. We can't just say, "Oh, I'm not going to work because blah, blah, blah. I have school or I have practice." We're not going to have all that anymore. So I understand how college could be scary and how people wouldn't even want to attend. And I love how we just got off topic because we got such deep into that conversation. Yeah, I'm sorry. A lot of podcast episodes are probably just going to be a lot of conversation. It's more than, just talking to y'all, because we want y'all to feel welcome. We want y'all to feel like y'all in the room with us. Because honestly, we forget the camera here and we just start talking, and y'all are here with us. And we thank y'all for being here.
And I think a lot of freshmen are nervous about if it's like a high school feeling, is it a college feeling? It's everyone's minding their business, but also having fun, if that makes sense. It's not like high school at all. I was afraid I was going to get bullied. I was afraid that nobody was going to talk to me. I was afraid of a lot of things. But until you get down and do it, it's not as bad as you think it is, quite honestly.
You're afraid you're going to get bullied in college? Oh my
Girl, there's stories. Ooh, college.
Stories, Lord. That's a whole nother episode. We're going to do a story time episode, y'all. But personally, my friends from high school did not want to come here. They wanted to go away and get away. Like, none of them wanted to go here. They thought it was high school part 2. They thought they were going to see everybody that was in high school with them. They thought, my friends used to joke about this school a lot, and some of the jokes weren't even clean jokes. It would be like, rankings when it comes to like certain diseases and stuff. They're like, "You're gonna go to Southern, and it's a disease-full school, and all that blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay." And look at me now.
Period.
I just want to say that. Look at me now.
I remember freshman year. I was really. I remember math. I had this math class.
I hate math.
It was one of the worst classes I've taken here at Southern. But no shade. It was just really difficult. It was super difficult. Let me tell you that. But I remember feeling I wasn't enough. I remember feeling I didn't think I would be anybody. I remember I just felt really beat down. Just beat down. I remember the type of song I was listening to, crying to the song, where I was. But it's past, and I'm doing more. So you're not alone in things like that.
And that's one thing you realize: time really just passes, and it just goes in front of you. Because you remember, I just be like, "Floyd, you always didn't look like this." You remember when I used to be like, "Floyd, do I look different?" Or, "Floyd, you look different." Like, you just start realizing that we're really growing. Because we looked totally different. Like, you didn't have all the facial hair. One day I just looked at you and said, "Oh, okay, Floyd, you have facial hair. Now let's go." Yeah. Like, that's how fast time moves. And if you don't keep up with it, it's going to run you if you don't take control of it now. So my best advice for freshmen right now is start taking advantage. Like he said, go to those events. Start your own thing. A lot of freshmen are scared to get out there and start their own brands, but do it. Because what's stopping you? people are scared they won't get the support. There's always somebody.
Even if it's just an idea, write it down. Write it down.
If you can vision it and if you can see it in your mind,
you can do it.
You can easily play it out physically.
You can do it.
You can easily play it out.
Oh, right there.
You can easily play it out physically. And people are scared to do that. But I think being a freshman is the perfect time because think about it, baby.
Sure.
You have 4 years of being at a university.
Maybe
you know
more.
how you can dominate a university in 4 years? Think about it. I dominated in 6 months. And now I'm on full year 1 and I'm back to it. Don't let nobody stop you. I love the freshmen. I love issue 26.
And there's always going to be people who don't like what you're doing. That's just a fact. It's something. If you're reading, they're not going to like that.
There's going to be some people that are jealous that you get into certain doors that they don't. It's a lot of things. Also, when it goes back to losing friends, you're going to lose friends just because you got an opportunity that they may have wanted more than you. But when God has a calling on an opportunity, the name is already written on who's it's going to be for. So, ladies, if you don't get into a certain organization, or even men, if you don't get into one, don't hate on the friends that did. Celebrate them. Maybe it's not your timing right now.
And also we're not saying making friends just to be popular, quote unquote, or just to make friends, to have friends. Having friends is also networking. So Macy might have a sister in the C100 that I need a number for because I want to do a photo shoot and she has something that I want. Or maybe her sister has someone's phone, a coach. I do cheer, maybe a coach she has that she can give her, it's just different networking things that I don't have. Maybe you have things you have, maybe I have, so, but just take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that's more of the word that we're looking for. Y'all need to take advantage because I can understand the fear on why people wouldn't want to start. But it's starting to take advantage now. Start getting confident in yourself.
Don't get too frustrated with yourself because we're all going through the same thing. We're all
do not be hard on yourself. You just got here, babes. You're not going to figure it out. You're not. Being in your dorm probably could suck the first,
Nobody knows what they're doing. We're just doing it. Fun fact.
No, seriously. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I love that, though. Like, you just have to keep going. You just have to start somewhere. And I think that's advice for every college student. You have to start somewhere. Because the thing is, a lot of freshmen want to rush their experience, enjoy things their first year, and then be ran out by the time they get seniors, and then they're tired and don't even want to work anymore. Like, take your time. It's always going to be things. There's always going to be things to join. There's always going to be students to talk to. There's always going to be, events to go to. There's always going to be a pageant to run in. It's always going to be something. So don't rush it. Because I found myself rushing a lot of things trying to last semester. And I think that's one main thing why I left a rural organization. Because when you're a part of so many things, you have so much to do. Little time makes you feel like you're rushing. And I don't feel like I want to be rushed. When it comes to my craft, I want to take my time, perfect it. And there's no such thing as perfection, but the closest thing to perfection in my eyes is what I produce. So that's what I put out, the closest thing. And that's really why I left organizations. But anything else you want to say about any of these topics?
I guess just to make everything into a ball, gaining friends, organizations, freshman advice. Just let it flow. Don't really force things to be. You're here for college. You're here for yourself. You're here to grow. Don't forget the reason why you're here. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get sad. It's emotions. We all have it. But
emotional roller coaster.
Just do. Oh, that's another topic. But yeah, that's all I got.
Well, thank y'all for being here with me and Floyd again. Your two favorite podcast hosts, I hope. Yeah. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you for subscribing if you're on YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you press all my links in my Instagram if you are hearing this from another platform. And we'll see y'all next time. Alrighty.